if you're a business owner, you have to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it
the
takes.
best you can is not good enough.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it pulls something out of you creatively. Right. So you become extremely resourceful. And one of the most stressful times of my life for sure, but probably one of the greatest internal accomplishments, because everyone told us, GCs, the people we're working with, everybody, no one was on our side. And it just, it lit me up, dude. And I was like, we're going to freaking make this. I didn't say a word. I said, okay. I nodded my head. They walked out. We got it done in 6 hours. It took 3 days to move everything out. 6 hours. We got it done.
Hey everybody, welcome to another great episode of the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, the show designed to help gym owners improve and grow their businesses. I'm your host, Andres Escobar, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. Today we have Zechariah Cesani, a fitness expert in Palm Beach County for close to 10 years. He's a proud owner of the Avenue Luxe, this unique boutique training studio which caters to high-end needs and array of services, including personalized training, one-on-one training, sports chiropractic therapy, massage therapy, IV therapy, dietitian services, and much more. If this is your first time listening to our show, please consider subscribing to the podcast and share this episode with someone whom you think you'll enjoy it. As we dive into this episode, listen to how Zechariah used the power of mentorship to scale where he is right now. He also shares with us some lessons he learned along the way, and we will speak about the power of faith, trust, and as well the importance of self-awareness and reflection to implement those lessons in your day-to-day. Hey everybody, it's Andres Escobar from Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, and I'm here with Zach Cesani. Zach, welcome to the show. We're so happy that you're actually in studio and never done before. This is first time for us, and I think first time for you as well.
First time for me as well, yes.
Man, that's awesome, dude. I love that. First time for everything. This is how we grow. We get uncomfortable. We grow. We're maybe a little scared, and then we're learning, and now we're growing. So I'm glad Zach is here. So Zach, can you share with us? I know a little bit about your story, but if you could just share with the whole audience of who you are, how you got here.
Sure.
So love that. If you could just talk to us. That'd
cool.
be great.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. Very excited to be here. Definitely in not my comfort zone for sure, but it's stretching me in a positive way. And really that's the concept of business in general, right? So Zechariah Cesani, I guess it kind of goes back to when I was like 12 years old. Most people probably have like some inspirational story. For me, it actually stemmed from anger. I just had an overwhelming feeling of just not feeling sufficient enough, and didn't have a lot of control growing up. And because of that, it led me to just working out and exercising because I knew I could control that. And over the course of time, as the results began to grow and grow and grow, I realized I actually start having a positive influence in other people's lives. And I'm like, wow, like people are starting asking me questions and I'm starting to be able to give advice. And then now all this pain transmuted into a sense of contribution back to other people. And watching other people change over the course of time really fired me up. And so I went to school for a little bit for personal training, and an opportunity opened up here in West Palm. And they're a newer gym in the area. They're still around today, thankfully. And someone took me under his wing, taught me pretty much everything that I know, at least conceptually. And then I started really investing into different certifications, et cetera. And so it just got to a point, and that was back in 2013 when I moved to West Palm.
Where'd you come from, by the way?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Tampa, or I was born in Pennsylvania, and I moved down to Tampa when I was 5 years old.
Nice. That's getting out of comfort zones, moving to another state, another city.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I know, I'm an immigrant myself, and I
Sure.
think you come from immigrant parents. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, so my mom's from Korea, dad's Puerto Rican, Italian from New York, but they're second. I'm second generation on my dad's side, first on my mom's.
Wow. That's huge. That's awesome. What a mix, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
That's New York.
Yeah.
It's like, the mutts for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So sorry, go ahead. Continue with it.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you got here from Tampa, and then you had a mentor, and then what happened? Like, so you worked at his gym as a personal trainer?
Yeah. So I worked as a personal trainer and was a night shift manager originally. And that kind of branched into eventually, I just wanted to, I'll say it this way, is that actually in the very beginning, transparently, is that um, originally I actually failed as a personal trainer. I got into business because it was something that I was quote unquote passionate about, and I still am to this day. But to take it to a professional level, I realized that it required more than just that. You have to really be all in. And so I actually branched away from fitness industry, still did clients online, and I wanted to go into business for myself. Didn't know exactly what I want to do, kind of soul searching that whole thing. And but I always kept my skill set, always stay connected with the clients that I had, and just because I learned so much from these people, they're very successful, and I was able to pick their brains and stuff. And so eventually, it rolled over into different businesses. I left the state, started a construction business. I've been in restaurant industries. Man, I've done everything, right? And that's actually how we met, is through a mutual friend who owns a restaurant here locally in West Palm. And when I moved back down to South Florida, I came back with purpose and personal training. I don't know, just there's a shift that happened, and it just developed into what it is today, and it's a gym. And so that's kind of my story there.
I
So
love it. I love it. That's awesome. Man, it's just having these obstacles going through different tasks, projects, and different areas of responsibility that you had. I'm sure it made you a better trainer, owner. Now you own a gym, right?
yes,
The Ave.
the Av.
And tell us about the clients that you service at the Ave.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you referring to specifically like what we do, or about the actual clients themselves, or what do you want?
Yeah, like the actual clients and what you do with them, right? If you could tell us a little bit of the clientele, there's people out there that have different clientele and want to make sure that, you know, that when they hear like, oh yeah, that's my clientele as well. That's my
Sure.
customer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So about the clientele here, and that we have at the Ave, well, our business concept is that, we just do one-on-one style training. It's private training. And, but we also offer other services such as chiropractic, sports therapy, physical therapy, osteopathology, IV therapy, dietitian services, massage therapy, etc. And so we have this a la carte style business where we customize a program for these individuals. And a lot of these people have a little bit extra money, extra, what's the word, disposable income
Right.
to afford these services. And a lot of this stuff is actually done offsite. So the client, or excuse me, the clinician would go to their house or to their office to be able to service them. And on site at the actual facility, the AV, we train people there. And but a lot of these clients, they're very successful entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 companies, business owners, very high level individuals living here in Palm Beach, Singer Island, North Palm, PGA, etc. And yeah, that's pretty much our clientele.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, good. We're going to get into a little bit more about maybe strategies and things that you're using right now to help you. But
Sure.
let's just dive into the the world, right? Into the world that you're in right now. I like to know that there's obstacles and challenges before me, and so I like to analogize to have an analogy as roller coaster. So life's a roller coaster. That's how I look at it. And there's ups and downs, lefts, turns, right turns. It goes everywhere. And so in my life, I have places where I'm disciplined in certain areas to make sure that I do the things I need to do. Um, I'm sure a lot of trainers that I talk to, a lot of gym owners I talk to, they have certain practices that they do. So what are the guardrails? Where's the kickstand? Where is it that you plant yourself so that way you don't get thrown out of
Sure.
that cart?
Yes. No. Man, I've learned this through. I've been a part of two smaller private gyms. I've been a part of two corporate gyms, and both of them restructured. So I saw a lot of different models, and the one thing that I saw that was a common denominator, and probably the greatest asset to the Av more than anything else, is my business partner. He's not here today. I believe, he's overseas, and he has business internationally. And so, my greatest asset to the team, for me personally, is definitely going to be my business partner Nathan,
Yeah.
and he's the one who helps me with guardrails. Right, he has business experience, he has a different perspective. We can bounce ideas back and forth, and so the greatest thing is that, like, we don't have to do this alone,
Mm,
and we can do this together, leveraging one another. Throwing ideas out there, and just sometimes, he can be a soundboard at times. At times, he can give perspective, and he gives me a lot of reign to be able to do what I believe is best for the Av, no doubt about it. But man, I would honestly say anything. there's no such thing as over communication. That's like one of our biggest concepts.
Love it.
And for us, that's my greatest asset, is being able to connect with somebody who obviously has our best interest, vested interest. But it's by far the best thing about our business is people. The worst thing about our business is people. And I'm very fortunate that I have a phenomenal and couldn't ask for a better business partner. So that is what keeps me on track, us on track.
I love it. I love it. You know,
Relationships.
In relationships, right?
Yeah.
My wife's my partner, my life partner, right? And
Yeah.
so she definitely keeps me on track. And so hopefully she hears this. I don't think she listens to our podcast. So.
She will now. Now she has a reason to. I'll bring it up. Don't worry. I got you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So, talking about the challenges and things that you encounter, what's some things that you can help us with that you've used in your life to help you overcome these challenges? One of the books that we love in this show is The Obstacle is the Way. Mm-hmm. And so how were you able to overcome the challenges, and what were they, if you could share with us?
Sure. Overcoming the challenges. I think prior to business, I would overthink a lot about all the theoretical ways. And it's one of those things that's called, getting ready to get ready, to get ready, to get ready, to get ready.
Wow.
It's like information.
One more time for the people in the back that didn't hear. What was it?
To get ready, to get ready. They're getting ready to get ready, to get ready, so they can get ready to get ready. Right. That's my life. Right. For a very long period of time. And now that I own a business, when you're in a situation where things need to just be dropped right there on the spot, one of the greatest things that I've learned so far in business is the skill set of prioritization. And it's amazing where something went from, it's number 4 on my list, we're going to get to it, to you get a phone call and it changes everything, the entire dynamic of your day and week, a month, whatever the case may be. And I'll give an example of that. That changed everything for me. And the greatest thing is that what seemed impossible, even with a team internally, us talking about it, how we're going to do this one thing, it almost seemed like the impossible thing. And sometimes it just comes down to, I don't know, maybe even a sense of pride to kind of prove others wrong, but really prove yourself right and see what you're made out of, and your own self-respect in the process. And so for me, throw me under the bus, see what I'm made out of. And we just put ourselves to the test. And so the example of that actually was our flooring situation.
Okay, perfect.
Have I mentioned this to you before?
No, man. No. And dude, honestly, people need to hear this, because flooring is like, you think it's like something simple, especially, you're just going into brand new gym, brand new, business. What? Flooring? How's that such a big? It's huge.
Huge. Yeah. And the thing is because it was the unexpected. I didn't know it was going to be such an issue. So anyway, so check this out. So we wanted to stand apart from all the other
before you do that, what was the issue?
So the issue was that our flooring, so we ordered customized flooring internationally, and we got it shipped over from Asia to the United States, and it sat in the Pacific for a while and at the ports and stuff like that. And so we wanted to do it before the grand opening. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that for numerous reasons, it didn't turn out that way. And they said, hey, look, we're going to go ahead and we'll make sure we'll get it to you after season. I said, okay, awesome. That's in like May, June type of time. Actually, right about now.
Perfect. Right.
And so we opened up in January, which means we had to scram to find temporary flooring, still do the grand opening, couldn't stop business because of it, because we have season from January to June. Sure. And so we just start rolling. And then I get a call in February and they say, oh, by the way, the flooring came through. It's sitting in the port. And if you don't install it like within a week, you lose your warranty.
Whoa.
And that was actually we filtered our whole decision based on the warranty. And the warranty is this. They're a custom flooring company and they do stamped. Most stamped type of flooring, when you have high traffic areas, rubs off for a course of time, it doesn't look great. Well, their claim to fame, right, was, hey, our stuff will never come off. And if it does, we'll give you a whole new floor for free. I said, dude, sign me up.
For sure.
So I'm going to try to run that sucker into the ground. Right? I'm like, hey, let's put it to the test. Right. And so it was extremely expensive, an unexpected expense we weren't willing to do, but like I was able to kind of convince. And so we worked some things. And so long story short, that was supposed to come in June. It came in February, and I already have clients, have all this stuff. So I get this call. They're like, hey, it's on a truck from Miami coming up to you now. Do you have space? And I'm like, whoa, man. So we got to get a forklift. I had to move clients around. I had to call other gyms, get clients to go there. Simultaneously, I had to hire like 3 extra people. Ron was one of the guys who like helped out and stuff like that. He brought some people as well. So we put this crazy team together. We had to move 4,000 square feet of gym equipment and rubber all out, put stuff in trucks. We had to haul things up. I mean, we had, again, like I said, we had forklifts, and it all had to be done within a 6 hour period.
Right.
We had to move an entire gym that took months to put together in a 6 hour period to be able to push away. So ironically, or crazy enough, we were able to do that, overcome that situation. And I trained other people at another gym until the new guys were able to install the flooring. And of course, there's always like disruptions and everything else. Long story short, the flooring goes in, and it took 6 hours to take 6 hours to take out. But because the new design of the gym and we got turf and everything else there, it changed the entire layout. It took 40 hours to design it and put it back together,
Wow.
where it's ergonomic, it's functional, you're not running into each other. I had to redesign everything.
Wow.
I mean, it was insane. It took us 40 hours to do, and it's not like they're light. It's a heavy piece of equipment. So it was a process, man, but we overcame it. And the thing was, is one, you can't do things alone. You have to be able to willing to try as much. I mean, just, you have to do whatever it takes. That's what it's like. I think the advice, and I'll end with this, is that the advice that I was given my whole life is do the best you can. And I think that's great advice
Mm-hmm.
if you're an employee.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a business owner, you have to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it
The
takes.
best you can is not good enough.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it pulls something out of you
Right.
creatively. So you become extremely resourceful. And one of the most stressful times of my life for sure, but probably one of the greatest internal accomplishments, because everyone told us, GCs, the people we're working with, everybody, no one was on our side. And it just, it lit me up, dude. And I was like, we're going to freaking make this. I didn't say a word. I said, okay. I nodded my head. They walked out. We got it done in 6 hours. It took 3 days to move everything out. 6 hours. We got it done. So I was fired up, dude. So it was,
I love it.
So that it was wild, but yeah, it's whatever it takes, man, at the end of the day.
Thank you for taking us on that journey, man. That was
Sure.
awesome. I mean, listen, if you're not relating to that, then you don't own a gym. You know, I mean, having a business is one thing, but having a gym, you have heavy equipment, and this is the reason why it's harder to finance a gym. And I've seen this experiences from people that told me I haven't owned a gym. I actually might be opening a gym next year, maybe.
Okay.
So
look at you.
So that's a possible. That's possible.
Exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely, interesting why gyms struggle so much, because the heavy equipment having to move and the collateral, and it's like, oh, who wants to take over that? Like,
overhead.
That's crazy.
It's a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Man, I love it, dude. And so talking about a beast, the gym industry is a beast and stuff, right? It's going in so many different directions. I just came from a conference called Functional Aging Institute. And so Functional Aging Institute, it has a program where you can instill into your personal trainers so they can work with older community, 50 plus, right? And so we don't really think, I know you're a young buck. I'm not too far from 50, but mentally, and honestly, like everybody that's over 50, mentally, they think they're young.
Oh, sure.
A lot of your clients are in that world.
Yes.
Mentally, they think they could do things that their body really can't. And so that's why it's like, all right, let's make sure we're flexible, mobile, doing all these things.
Sure.
Going back to the question, I'm going deep into this aspect, but it's so important. If you're not serving this community that's 50 plus, they have the most disposable income that they have resources to pay for PT. So if you're focused on the 20 and 30-year-olds, they might not have the money to pay for the PT that they need. And so this community, I think, is huge. So speaking about the fitness industry, what do you think needs to be improved? Like, if we don't fix this today, I know I just brought up one thing, but if we don't fix this today in the fitness world, we're going to be in a world of hurt. What do you think that might be for us to know? I have the magic wand, by the way. I can just wave it and we're going to fix it today.
Well, we need a few of those, actually. If I get 3 wishes, I'm going to wish for more wishes. There's quite a bit of things, man. Off the top of my head, for some reason, this is just on my heart, is actually social media.
Okay.
So this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I can be completely wrong.
Right.
Often I am, and I'm okay with being wrong.
Sure.
I would love to put this on the table for debate and expand my horizons. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But this is my take on it, is that in the fitness industry, most people, I don't say people, but I would say influencers or algorithm, whatever, most people, if they were held responsible for the information they released, right, for how people ended up, for the information they released, because how
Yeah.
they say it, this is you have to, you need to, the top three, this is the only stop doing. Okay. If they were held responsible, 100% responsible for every single person who saw that and how their life ended up, I, this is just me, 90% of Instagram, especially 95, maybe 99% of Instagram, gone,
Mm.
gone in a
Wow.
heartbeat. Um, so the thing that I think in the industry, not even, this is a different dynamic, but I don't think it's necessarily the industry in and of itself. I think it's people's receptivity and their ability to receive information and know what to do with it. As a consumer, someone who's listening to someone who's working out at the gym and saying, "This is the workouts I'm doing, and I suggest this workout because X, Y, Z." All that's great. All that, I mean, fantastic. That's amazing. It's helpful. But it's not so much what people are saying that I'm concerned about. Believe it or not, it's what people, if someone, me as a consumer who's listening to this, if I don't do what I need to do to be able to properly receive that information, and I don't know how to use that information and apply that information, that's how people get hurt. And again, like I said, if people were held responsible, because people say it in a way where it has to be this way: stop doing this exercise, don't drink too much water, you'll die, drink too much water, you'll die,
Hmm.
too much sunlight, you'll die, not enough sunlight, you'll die. I'm like, dude, like,
Yeah.
it's information overload.
Broccoli's good. Broccoli's not good. What
Broccoli's
what
good.
what, what is
Yeah,
it?
coffee's going to kill you. Coffee's no great. Drink fungus instead. I'm like, at this point, people just make up. Not that they make up stuff. It's just there's evidence. You're going to find evidence for whatever you find,
To support whatever you're talking about,
and it
right?
really comes down to how you use it. For example, perfect example. We're drinking water right now. Have you heard when
Yeah.
someone says cold water is bad for you? Have you ever heard that before?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
Yes.
so some people say it shocks your system.
Right.
Oh, don't drink cold water because it shocks your system. Well, it depends on the purpose. If you're drinking in the morning and shocking your system, waking it up, actually might be a great thing
Right.
for metabolism. Some people do and don't believe that. Some people say there's evidence and say there's not. Okay, well, here's my example. Have you ever seen someone serve hot tea at a Super Bowl game to all the players on the field?
Never.
Why? Because they have cold drinks. Why? Because it rehydrates them faster.
Yeah.
So maybe cold water when you're sitting down and not doing anything and you're at the office might be more applicable
Right.
to your situation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Versus you on the football field, it's 100 degrees
Love it.
outside and you're going to drink more room temperature water? No, you're going to drink cold water because it rehydrates you faster. Depends on the purpose, right? So this is what I mean by all because the information's out there, it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. But in certain circumstances, based on the situation as a professional to a client, but also the individual, it's so custom. There's not just a one size fits all type of thing. And I have an issue with social media because it's not that they don't even care, whoever they would be, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can't categorize that. But what I would say is that there's so much information out there. Most people don't know how to filter the information. It's information constipation. It's the opposite of what we had in the
Right.
70s and 80s. We didn't have enough information. And I find that social media as a whole, people's approach, if they were held responsible, plus if people did their actual due diligence and research to receive the information properly and know how to apply it themselves according to their circumstances, that's
Digest it. All
oh
right.
my gosh,
Let's take
it's
information.
huge.
Let's mull it over. Let's chew it a little bit.
100%.
Let's maybe hey, chew this on this. Chew this.
I'm actually kind of hungry. So
You are hungry.
Don't
Yeah.
do that, bro. Chicken fingers, man. That's protein. That's protein right there, bro. So
Love it. So yeah, let's everybody have partake in what we're eating, and let's digest it and let's figure out, hey, what works for me? Like what you're saying, what works for me? I love it.
my suggestion here
Yeah.
would be ask someone two things. Influencer, right?
Mhm.
Someone who influences someone. If you're asking, hey, the information I received, is this applicable to my life? All right. You got to ask someone who, one, has credibility, and two, their agenda. Sometimes people's agenda is not to be wrong, especially in the fitness industry. We're held to a very high standard that we must know everything. And a lot of people in the industry, trainers in particular, at least that I'm related to, man, it's a sometimes even an unhealthy place because we have so much pressure that we must know absolutely everything. And we'll maybe go into that another time. But the point is that when someone has credibility and their agenda is not for their own ego, right? Not to save their own pride or anything like that, but rather to help you specifically for your situation. And they have the credibility to speak into your life, and you give them permission and you ask them their opinion. They give you an honest, and that's the best thing you could possibly have. And that would be my suggestion, right? And the trainer, the professional, whoever it is that you're asking, when they give that information, You got to filter it yourself. You got to find out for yourself. You can't just put all your eggs in that basket and be like, all right, one size fits all kind of thing. There's no magic pill for this. You have to find out for yourself and then communicate, go back and forth. Hey, I found that this worked, but this didn't. And if they're humble enough, a trainer's humble enough or whatever is humble enough to say, hey, you know what, actually, that totally makes sense. I could do either more research on it, or you're right, let's try this instead, or build on top of whatever you as a client found. Then now you have a partnership. You work together. Now we have healthy boundaries. Now we have a partnership. And so that's my suggestion, is just filter the information, ask people with credibility and the right agenda. And then you got to figure it out. You got to be able to put in that, the investment into yourself, and it's a long-term game plan. But once you find it out, you can build on top of that. And it's amazing what doors you can break there. So
yeah, I want to double click on being an influencer. So being an influencer is thought of as a good thing, but it really, the way it's used today, it's more a manipulator.
Oh, dude,
the difference between a manipulator and an influencer is it's the same wording, the same everything. It's just what you said. It's the heart. Am I doing it for you to benefit, or am I doing it for me to benefit? Giving. So which one do you think
giving or taking?
Yeah,
it's giving or taking. At the end of the day, that's what servitude. That's what business ownership is all about. Me as a young man, I'm single, by the way, but me as a young man, it's really comes down to giving. At the end of the day, that's what this whole thing is all about, is giving. And I think the foundation for a professional, or really just anybody, I mean, just in general, and at least this is how I filtered my trainers and my clinicians, is they had to have two fundamental things. One of them is a willingness to grow, and they had a heart to give, a sense of contribution, but they can't give what they don't have. And so in order to gain, they have to have humility, right? And they have to have gratitude. That's a foundation for learning. That's a foundation for growth. And again, you can't give what you don't have, but once you gain something, then you can give it. And I find that, dude, I couldn't agree with you more. There's so much taking, and for myself and what I can do for myself, so built into the culture.
It's a culture.
It's almost, you don't even know it. People are like unaware of that.
And you know what? I'm guilty sometimes. I'm thinking of self 100%. Sometimes, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Perfect example. I at this Functional Aging Institute conference, there was a time to do exercises, and there was this rubber band exercise where I got a rubber band or one of those bands,
sure,
and they got a band, and we interlooped it, and we literally one leg, and we had to just pull and do whatever it was, but you had to balance, I had to balance. I was thinking about myself, make sure I did my exercise correctly.
Sure.
And later on, I said, whoa, if I actually focus on you not falling, dude, I'm going to be fine, because I feel more in control, because I can see you and I can look at you, and dude, and I'm adjusting. And so and that just brought to me mind, like, oh my gosh, I was being selfish in the beginning because it's about me doing my workout, except for you, making sure you do your workout. And it worked much better, dude. It's crazy how that worked.
So fire.
It's so fire, dude.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yes. So good. I love that.
Good stuff, dude. Dude, talking about working with other people, who in your life has been like an influential force that you say, man, if I don't say this person, then I'm gonna feel bad? Who would be that's helped you in your trajectory?
Oh man, that's tough. There's three in particular, different phases of my life. Just choose one. Well, let me ask you this. I have three for different topics, and that's why I asked. So in particular, is there anything in specific?
Listen, don't worry about hurting people's feelings. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Like, listen, you can't, so many people, I'm sure, right? Mom, dad,
sure. Not from that lens. And I appreciate you saying that. It's more so, there's three different people, and there's three different people who added value to my life as mentors.
Yeah. Like, pick one area and say, hey, that person was very influential in this area. That's cool.
Oh, cool. So, first and foremost, it'd be a guy named, well, actually it'd be my dad, probably my first one, because he's my coach. But I wanted to mention a guy named Joe, and I won't say his last name here, but he taught me how to be a go-getter. He taught me how to be a giver. He taught me how to be selfless. He taught me how to be a business owner. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me how pretty much everything I know today, I'm a byproduct of the environment that he created, because they were higher standards. Those standards stem from values. And because those values are so present, and I can see it reflected, not because he said he had values and these are my standards, but I saw how it affected the other people within his kingdom king of
Yeah. Yeah.
his domain. I saw it reflected
Love it.
his relationship with his wife and with his kids and a lot of other people all around and leaders and business owners and entrepreneurs, etc. Because I saw it reflected through them, I knew that it was real.
Yeah.
And because I knew it was real, and he had a good, you know, a agenda genuinely for Zechariah's best interest,
Yeah.
definitely had credibility without a doubt in the
Wow.
world. This man, I would say, has been one of the most influential people in my life. And it makes, I'm trying not to cry right now. I'm unbelievably grateful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, more is caught than what is taught.
Mm,
Our words are powerful, but more important, our actions are super impactful to the people around us.
sure.
So just make sure, you test yourself, make sure that you are a man or a woman of your word. And I think that's, Joe lived up to that. So love it.
Yes.
Love it. Thanks, man.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. So we're talking about growth and growing. What would be something that you would double click, double tap and invest more time, or something that inhibited your growth? Or what would you take away? Like if you had to pick one, what would you take away or what would you put in? Pick one and tell us about
Go is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.io/try to get started.
You didn't know I was going to have you pick one. You thought I was going to have you do both, right?
Yeah. That.
Yeah. So if you had to pick one, would you take something out or would you make sure like what would, because obviously if you can grow faster by just doing one little thing, what would it be? Would it be taking something out or would you inject something in?
So, and I don't mean to be all esoteric about
That's
things,
fine.
but I'm kind of going down that route because that's where it's going to stem. And it's actually one of the values for the gym. Our acronym is focus, and the first one is faith.
Mm-hmm.
And faith is not a spirit. I'm not talking about religious faith, guys. I'm talking about spiritual principles. And what faith, and a synonym for faith is action. Okay. Why do I bring that up? The thing that I would do, right,
Mm-hmm.
would be getting out of my own way.
Wow.
And what do I mean by that? If I actually allowed people in, courage, that's also in focus,
Mm-hmm.
right? C for focus on our acronyms for our values is courage. If I had courage, more courage, and as I develop courage to be more vulnerable, to allow people in to help me, and I have faith that at the end of the day, this is going to contribute towards we are going to collectively together and can trust that and willing to risk myself of being hurt and backstabbed or taken advantage of in business, which has happened multiple times before, et cetera, et cetera. It's really willing to put myself back out there again. Okay, it's going to come down to faith. And what do I mean by that? Specifically, um, getting out of my own way. Um, I have a tendency to want to control things, and breakthrough happens when you trust. Breakthrough happens on the other side of that control when you begin to trust other people. Again, it requires all the things we talked about before: humility, willingness to grow, sense of contribution, having a heart for giving. All that stuff for me at the end of the day comes down to faith. And I have a tendency to want to control things. And now I'm standing in the way of other people moving forward in life because I'm trying to protect myself. But when I allow other people in and we can do things together, a creative force comes together. Or two people coming together creates a creative force that where something completely different can evolve from it. And I need other people. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know I need other people in my life to help me get to where I want to get to. And Joe was one of the people who said this. He said, Zach, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Mm.
He says, but if you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And to go together, man, that takes faith to open up that heart, right? So I had a tendency for a long time, especially in the beginning, to get in my own way, try to do things myself. But once I allowed other people in, and then I can utilize, and I was able to then recognize why I'm in the position that I'm currently in. It's not because I'm great. It's because other people are. I'm in a position to be able to plant them and put them in a position to leverage their strengths, to progress forward, to compound what it is that I could never have done by myself. And I did. It would take my whole life to do it. And so I don't believe in the one-man army whole thing. I think that's a bunch of crap. Lone survivor, wolf mentality. Okay, at some point in your life, that's important to earn self-respect. But at another point in life, to actually mature, you got to come collectively. It's I mean, you got to work together to be able to do something that's just much bigger than ourselves, and that's really what we're after. And it requires faith, it requires trust, respect, etc. So
control or trust. I love that. That was so good. Cool. Now we're ready. We're ready for the fast five.
Sure.
You ready? This is your time to talk about the influence person. You got one more person.
Okay.
So, and then you're gonna answer, and if you want to double tap, do so, but do responsibly. We're gonna go fast with these guys, and then I got one last question.
Sure. Okay.
And you haven't seen it yet, so I love it. So it's gonna so good. All right. Who is an influential person or people in your journey?
I would say my dad, for sure.
Cool.
100%.
Very cool.
Should I go into why or no?
If you want to double tap, be responsible.
Yeah, no, very responsible. I'll hit this one pretty hard. It's called gas theory.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the fitness industry are well aware of what this is. A gas theory pretty much just states that it's actually a theory in how we think we develop and grow muscles. Your body must overgo a state of stress first, so your body has something to adapt to. And that adaptation ultimately will produce a higher capacity. And we call this higher capacity. We have now growth from where we started. And so this another stress comes on and it kind of pushes us down, and then we adapt to that and we become stronger than we were before. And what happens is like a 2-step forward, 1 step back kind of concept. And so we call this periodization. We use this in training. We use this in workouts. We use this holistically in all aspects of my life. And so my dad is actually the one who taught me this principle. So when I received the information, I knew what to do with it and how to apply it with my life. And so my dad's very influential in my life is because he taught me how to reflect, to look back, right? And connect the dots together to see where I could potentially go. And that's what gas theory is all about. I had to go through stresses. Hindsight's 2020, look backwards, be able to see where you need to go, take the opportunities that you need to take based on the information from prior to whatever happened before.
Yeah.
And then you do that collectively. So gas theory is not only in training, but also in other areas of my life. And that actually originally stemmed from my dad pouring into me when I was younger.
Love it. Good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It reminds me of another concept called reset the thermostat.
Ooh,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so you kind of move it up.
Yeah,
move it up. I love it.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
I like that.
Next question. What's one thing you wish you had known had you began your business journey?
So I have 10 or more. But
10 things. One thing.
Ooh, I would say marketing, how to market in the social media realm. Or not even social media, just like in general, websites, things of that nature. I'm good at counting. All I do is I count to 20. And I don't even do that properly, actually. So marketing is like a whole nother beast. And advertising and stuff like that, I wish I knew that better.
Nice. That's true. Very true. Very good. What's a book, blog, podcast, media that you've recently consumed that positively impacted you?
Oof. Yeah, I can go down the list. Fresh in my mind. Might as well just go for it. I'm just going to go for Goggins, David Goggins.
Yeah.
Okay. Monster.
Which one? The podcasts?
All of them. So I listened to his podcast with Ed Milet, which was absolutely powerful.
Yeah.
I like listening to him when he talks to just pretty much anybody, Joe Rogan, but just when he releases his stuff, his book Can't Hurt Me was massive in my life. Yeah. So in regards to personal training, in regards to personal development, therefore ties into personal training, a book called Wild at Heart by John Eldridge.
Oh, so good.
Dude, I just got chills, man. Like that.
So good.
That's like deeper for sure.
Yeah.
But that ties into all areas of life, and that actually transmuted into David Goggins. As one person, there's plenty. So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so funny. A buddy of mine was asking me, "Hey, what book do you recommend?" And I gave the Wild at Heart.
So good.
This is it.
So fire.
Good.
Number one book for sure.
Oh, yeah. So the next question is, what's your favorite online tool that you use or that you know of?
Favorite online tool? Probably my notes section.
The notes on your phone?
Oh, yeah, obsessed.
Yeah. Okay.
I have probably as many notes, like data for picture, like equal to pictures. Like,
yeah,
I take tons of notes. So yeah,
I'm gonna have to show you. I have Keep is a Google Notes,
okay,
and it's pretty cool. But you have your Apple guy, so it's cool. Yeah. And then there's Google Task, which is another one that's really cool. It's help you like checklist. But that's awesome.
I need it. Yeah,
yeah,
all for it, man.
Cool. And this is actually really cool. The last one is, what's one habit or practice that you believe everyone would benefit from, that they should just do it?
Read.
Read. Any book in general? Have you, whatever we just talked about? Well,
So my whole business principle, excuse me, my whole business concept
uh,
is based on one book, and that's The Go Giver.
oh, really? Bob Berg.
Oh man,
Dude, if
that
you want
is
to meet him,
huge.
I can introduce you to him.
Dude, I would love for the team to somehow meet him. So if there's an
Yeah.
introduction and I can
Wow.
bring my team, that book, yeah, I would say practically that book or habit would be reading. And reading actually, I learned was not so much the information that you're retaining, although that's extremely important, and the application of the knowledge that's great. Actually, reading for me taught me time management because listening is passive and it's important and you receive more information that way
Right.
and remembering information, blah, blah, blah. But for me, taking time out specifically to read,
Yeah.
11 minutes for the average human being of unbroken focus before you tap into a flow. And it's because of that reading habit genuinely changed my life for
Yeah.
sure.
Thanks for the reminder, because I just went away and I came back and I stopped the reading, but I need the way I do it. I love it. It's, you said audible, but
Sure.
also with the book. So I'm actually listening and looking
100%.
at the words. So I'm retaining so much more that way.
Sure.
So
sure.
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, remind me to Vopper for sure. Cool. Last question.
Cool.
Hope you're all ready for this. This is super impactful. I love this question. And so, Zach, I have a time machine. And so I'm going to take you back to 14-year-old Zach. What's a piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could?
I don't know how to put it into words, but I know the feeling now. I can see it. It's going to take me a little while to kind of put it into words. 12 to 28, I felt like was a big F up. And when I opened up my gym back in December, I was actually able to go back to where I really defined myself, start working out, 12 years old, back to my neighborhood. I was there at midnight, literally on Christmas. And I even took a video, and I'm sitting there, and the overwhelming feeling came to, dude, like all those mistakes, you spent years, wasted time, so much time wasted on all the regrets and things you did wrong. Dude, you were right. You were right the whole time. Proud of you. And you were right. Meaning that even though you were filled with all those mistakes, it ultimately accumulated into something that's so much bigger than anything that I was doing up until that point, because that's what, for me, business is all about. It's my purpose. Like, and this is my priorities. If I could say this, my 4 priorities is first God. The second one is my purpose above my family, and then everything else underneath it. Because my purpose includes my family. If it doesn't include my family, it's not my purpose. And my purpose was given to me by my God. And now that I see, and God's given me as time's gone on, the vision has changed as I've climbed the mountain. The view has changed, and it's developed into, now I see the need, and now I see my purpose in fulfilling it. And it doesn't have to just be in this aspect. The gym is just a vehicle for me to learn these things. And so this is, so yeah. So going back to 14-year-old self, dude, I don't know if this is making sense. It's hard for me to transmute it into words, but dude, you were right on track the whole time, no matter how many times you messed up, how many times you got screwed, no matter how many mistakes that you made, self-sabotage, you trusted someone you shouldn't have trusted in business, you made all these risks, you moved all around, you got screwed by other people. I mean, I can go, these person changed their mind. Dude, if I actually go through the entire story, easily be an hour of all the things. I can't even get into it right now, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
And in the end, because you continue to build your character and stay true to yourself and read things like Proverbs, and again, have people like Joe speaking to my life, by far the greatest thing that ever happened. One of the greatest things that ever happened, Nathan, my dad, Coach Ennis, people like this, these people pouring into my life, dude, like all that accumulated into where I'm at today. Like it was, I'm not gonna say it was all worth it, but what I'll say is this is like, my whole life has been filled with other people My whole life has been filled with other people helping me get back on my feet. It's my responsibility to help others help other people get back up on theirs.
Amen.
And so they passed me the torch. And so this is what this whole thing is about. It's not about me. It's so much bigger than myself. And that's why my purpose is above all else, separate from a God. And now I'm here to pass it on to the next person.
Right.
And so my 14-0 self, dude, you're right on it. You're going to go through hell for the next 10 years. I'm telling you right now, even longer, it's going to be rough. I'm telling you right now, dude, you're actually on track for something deeper, which is the spiritual fulfillment that I'm looking for. Dude, you're right on track. But you better buckle down, dude. You better buckle down and get after it, because it's about to be a wild ride, man.
Yeah.
But therefore, then it's worth it. You'll see. Right?
Bro, thank you so much, man.
Of course, man.
Awesome. Great.
Yes.
All right, y'all. This is it. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Thank you, Zach, for coming on.
Of course. Appreciate you having me
And
here.
this is great, unique. I never hugged anybody after an interview, so that was so cool. I love that. That was awesome.
So good.
So join us next time. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks,
See y'all.
guys.
Bye.
So.
Man, that was so much fun to have Zechariah in the studio. I really enjoyed what Zach said about creating strong relationships with your mentors, friends, and your partners, who will allow you to have different perspectives on business and personal life. By the way, what was your favorite takeaway from this episode? Connect with and share this message with me on Instagram at MeetEsco, and I love to hear your thoughts. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode today. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the show on the platform you're currently listening on. And remember to leave us a rating and review so we can improve the show for you guys. It would really mean also the world to us. By the way, check out our YouTube channel to get some amazing content and much more. As always, I want to thank you so much for your encouragement. I truly appreciate you listening to the podcast and helping us improve with your comments. And I'll be seeing you next time in the Growth Zone.